Welcome everyone, this is Scramble from Emotionless Crypto Trading. Today we would like to talk about Bitcoin and share with you the most important information which is hiding behind the complicated language called technical analysis. We would like to position and put in light the most important things, right? So stick with us, we're going to talk about the probabilities of the future. As of right now, the market is suffering a pullback which started from a new all-time high position which has been established around the 6,100 bucks area, and it's the all-time high position of 2019. Now that's pretty great as long as we're establishing higher highs. In a nutshell, overall we're going in the right direction as of right now. However, we're going to dive into deep on the technical side where we can talk about the details of the probabilities which are about to come. By the way, you can see the entire market is suffering, and once again BTC dominance, it's been gaining another 1% on top of the alts which are suffering more than the BTC even when we have this pullback. Can't say the same thing when we had the increase in the last day, when we had that rally, considering that BTC was realistically taking off and it was pumping more than Ethereum or Ripple, right? So we can see that in the last phase of the market, we have Bitcoin increasing more than Ethereum or Ripple, which are two insanely high altcoins, actually the first two, as well as when the decrease story is about to begin, Bitcoin decreases less, right? So it seems to be more profitable to trade BTC right now compared to the previous months against Ethereum or Ripple if you talk about these short-term waves, right? So we must specify there is a specific context where BTC is better to be traded than Ethereum or Ripple for short-term traders. Good. Talking about swing trading or long-term trading, that's a total different story, and what I just said earlier does not reflect to that. Keep in mind, 24 hours volume 51 billion, nothing special. Once again, we're averaging around this range, so when we have a pullback, it's great that it's not above 70 billion, it's 50 billion, and that does represent a natural and healthy pullback compared to what is the 24 hours volume as average for the last period. Market cap is sitting around 180 billions of dollars, and I'm wondering if we're capable to sustain this level as support. That's one of the big questions for today, and of course for the upcoming period, if $180 billion total market cap is going to be a position that we can hold as a support for the upcoming movements, which tells me that if we're able to establish from here another rally which is crossing 200 billion and then pulls back to 200 billion, but once again it needs to find support there, then spike towards, this is what we used to call as structure continuation and building within the market, right? So it keeps building to a higher and higher level from bottoms to tops, from bottoms to tops. All of them are higher than the previous ones, which sounds great, right? Great. So let's dive into this thing right here, which is the technical analysis. Bitcoin paired up with a US dollar on the Bitfinex exchange. We're going to start from left to right, and we can see that there is a resistance line appearing somewhere at $6,130. It has two tops right here, very clear two tops, and usually this double top pattern represents a bearish movement. That bearish movement did happen because the market crashed below the $6,000 support line that we have from here, clearly. Right, so the pullback from this double top was powerful and it crashed below, establishing a false breakout. Good. Now from there we were able to come back, considering it was a false. We were coming back within this sideways channel, and we were finding the 2019 all-time high position, which is this point right here, and it's sitting around 6,150. Right, there was a long breakout here which actually ended up to be failed, unfortunately, because if this thing would not been failed, we would have handle over to 6,150, sorry, 6,500 directly. 6,150 is the all-time high of 2019. Good. So we got back within the channel, right? Once again. And the first thing that we see is we've got supported by the $6,000 level, just like that. Very clearly, 3 times. Number 1, number 2, number 3. But what happened next is it definitely turned out to be a bearish movement. And we're talking about this high right here. That high right there is clearly telling me that from the previous high, we do have a bearish domination. And it's clear, because the next one is confirming it, just like that, even lower. Beautiful. But let me tell you a comparison here, which is going to help you to understand the upcoming movements of the market, as well as get some skills around the technical side. Great. So what is the difference between this situation we just spoke about with this 2 highs here, one lower than the other, as well as lower, both of them, than the all-time high position? What is the difference compared to this point right here, which could be considered as a top, that point? Then you have a lower high here, just like you have here. And then the third one is actually sitting around the same range. Right? So it's not below like it's in our case here. What's the outcome of this? Well, the market is finding support once again at $6,000 at this point. Here, it is no longer finding support and it's crashing. What's the outcome? When it finds support, it spikes. Exactly the opposite. Right? So from these 2 tops here, compared to the other 2 tops, we can already have a high probability on our calculation that the market is going towards to a bearish domination, which is exactly what happened. A short breakdown on the $6,000 level. Now, what happens, and I'm not sure if I told you, but we're looking at the 5-minute candlesticks, which is short-term details, great for day trading. Good. Now, we have a possible long domination, and we can see that from the bottoms. Possible long domination. We're about to establish an uptrending channel right now with clear support and resistances, which is beautiful. So that also represents that the market is not really permitting the BTC to fall aggressively below $6,000. There is a price difference right here of 2.3% from, let me see, actually from the support, right? So 2.3% from the support. Right now, that is where we are below. And this movement happened in 10 minutes, right? So we can see the volatility is still existent. But let me tell you, as long as you find support around the range, which is a sideways structure, this one right here entirely is our sideways structure. Very important to get above the 6,000 level as fast as possible and find some support there. This is the crucial part for the BTC right now, because if it continues crashing and finds a top somewhere here, then from the previous top you're going to have a resistance line which is going to look like this, and then the market will try to fall continuously, right? So we have to be aware about that thing as well, because it could happen. There is double resistance appearing here that we have to break out, and we need volume for that. So we're going to find out what's happening. Right now, we don't trade BTC. We're sitting in US dollars and we're watching it. We need data in order to see the probabilities. There's nothing clear right now where the market is going. Good. We'll talk about short term once again for 5 minutes. Let's dive into the 1 hour, which speaks about swing trading. Here we've got the long failure and the all-time high of 2019 appearing at 6,150 clearly. The long failure has been confirmed and the market has been crashing afterwards. We just spoke about earlier on the 5-minute candlestick how that happens. Good. But what happens at the support range, and why do we got supported there? Well, Fibonacci retracement tool explains us. We've got the 0.786 Fibonacci point, which is representing support in our case scenario, and it does help us very nicely. Some interesting things happen below that, especially around the 5,650 resistance, which have continued just like this, activating for a while, and then the long breakout happened. Just like that at that point. But let me check the measure tool. From the long breakout until the on-to-hand position, we have 8.9%. The correction is 4.2, somewhere around 50%. Still healthy. I've told you in my other videos, a correction which is more than 60% becomes a bearish correction, a bearish pullback. Correction is too much for this scenario. It's better to use the word pullback. Correction involves a longer phase which dominates the market for a long period of time, and it should be also called as an environment. That's how it looks like. We're talking about longer term movement when we say correction. But a simple pullback, it's exactly what just happened so far. And it's around 50% compared to the spike, to the rally. That's something that tells me that the end of the entire pattern as a conclusion is bullish, which is awesome. Great. So this is 31 hour. We can see there's some important points below the market, but once again, we don't really care about those as long as we're still supported by the 0.786 Fibonacci retracement line. Beautiful. Going towards, we have the 1-day candlestick. And the 1-day candlestick is a type of screen that we could use for swing trading and long-term trading. Take a look at that. There is an important line here which is called the trending line of support, currently activating as resistance, where we could face some troubles. Right now it's sitting at 6,650. The later we touch it, it's going to sit a little above. You see, if we touch this around June, it's going to be at 6,600, at 6,700, 6,730, right? So the later we touch the line, because the way it's oriented upwards, the higher we're going to find resistance. Right now, like I said, 6,650 is heavy resistance appearing, including the 6,500 psychological point and other resistance. If there is going to be a more powerful and long-term bearish movement against us appearing at those levels, it is something we could expect at this point, but can't predict it as long as we don't have a reaction on those points. Keep in mind, I've been always telling you guys, wait for the market to act, and then you are the one reacting and not the against version or the opposite version. By you acting on the market, believing it's going to stop somewhere right now, and then the market is going to react on your action. Because that time, that's how people lose, and that's how people end up on long-term on losses. Your movement, your action is not going to be backed up by data as long as the data did not appear yet, right? So very important, very, very important. This is how traders are doing it. Great, so that's pretty much all about the technical side for today. We're trying to look into the news where we have some great things. Confirmed Facebook building crypto-based payment system, the key to mass adoption. Talking about Facebook, which has more than 1 billion of users. Think about when these guys are going to attach their name directly to the world of crypto by implementing it as a crypto-based payment platform. Think about that. Of course, it's going to be a large and massive step into mass adoption for sure. And we're just going to enjoy these kind of things because the prices should react. I'm not going to say they will react. They should react. Good. Other things. Fidelity institutional investment in cryptocurrency likely to grow. Of course, it's likely to grow as long as companies which are representing the blockchain area are enough serious in order to gain confidence within the market and present real products which are helping people. This is the crucial part. And it's actually true. We can see Ripple dominating their space. We can see Ethereum doing well as well. We can see cryptos in the security world providing quality products. We can see in the e-commerce industry, we can see pretty much in all the domains which can be found online that the blockchain area is providing good quality products. And the projects behind them, all those startups that once a day they were ICOs, now they're insanely large companies with hundreds of employees, right? So it's serious stuff. That's why institutional investment is of course likely to grow constantly as long as the products delivered by this cryptocurrency industry are better and better day by day. That's how this relationship works. It's important for us to put some great products on the market which are helping the day-by-day people. Not only the ones which are behind large companies, not only the ones which are behind the scenes, right? So it's important to implement a sort of a way products which are also helping to mass adoption, talking about the average Joe as well. Good. And other things, breaking Bitcoin price records a new 2019 all-time high and top 100 billion market cap analysis. This case we were advertising that we were going a new 2019 all-time high position, which is true. We just spoke about that during the technical analysis we did on 1 hour candlestick, 5-minute candlestick, as well as 1 day candlestick, right? So for today, that's pretty much all about on this video presentation. We're going to create more videos about other cryptocurrencies as well. We're going to discuss about the space and share with you the most important details that you definitely need to know in order to trade these probabilities better. Keep in mind, remember, it's all about trading the probabilities in the right way in order for you to be profitable on the long term and have the ability to live from this activity, as well as why not get rich. Because the only thing that makes the difference between leaving, surviving from this industry, which I must say, for a bunch of the traders, it's difficult. It's difficult to survive, and it's even more difficult to get rich from this industry. There is dozens of steps that you need to accomplish in order to get to that level. But I can tell you that as long as you're on the right direction, you as a person, you can do it. There's nothing that's going to stand between the accomplishment and the person that it's set up for that accomplishment, not only from the moral perspective, and of course, not only from this motivation perspective, because what you actually need is not only motivation. That's something that it's needed probably at the beginning till you get started and feel the taste. And once you feel the taste and you want to be serious, you want to make money out of this, there are other things that are needed way more important than the motivation, which is kind of going to switch off at the time you start feeling some problems all around the space. And of course, motivation stays only at the surface. It's nothing deep when we talk about motivation. Great. So for those of you looking to become professional traders, feel free to check the link in the description area for the one-on-one coaching program with me only, with me live. We're going to learn how to become professional traders and do this business till the point we can multiply our amounts of money, our budgets, in a serious way. Good, that's pretty much all about. Feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel, hit that like button, tell your opinion in the comments area, and click that bell button next to the subscribe one. We'll talk to you soon. Stay in touch. Take care.